I'm Dr. Richard Betts. I'm Head of Climate Impacts at the Met Office Hadley Centre. There is no single definition of drought. It very much depends on who is being affected as to how they view drought. There is meteorological drought, which is essentially a time without rainfall. There's agricultural drought, which is a reduction in the amount of water available for crop growth. There is hydrological drought, which is a reduction in the amount of water in rivers and groundwater and water within the ground. Also, economic drought concerns access to water, so has socio-economic implications as well. Bearing in mind the different definitions of drought, we can still assess how climate change may affect drought and the time spent in drought by interpreting the output of computer climate models. Examples might be to look at a drought metric based on rainfall and evaporation, or we might look at changes in projected soil moisture. One key factor, though, is that drought is very much defined locally, so the driest 10% of time, for example, in sub-Saharan Africa may be much drier than the driest 10% of time in the UK. But either way, it's the relative dryness compared to background conditions which essentially defines drought. Different computer models, of course, would give different indications of changes in drought in any given location, especially because it's so dependent on precipitation, rainfall in particular, which is so dependent on the exact projections from different computer models, which disagree quite significantly in many areas about whether some areas will even get wetter or drier in terms of rainfall. Of course, high temperatures tend to promote evaporation, so that would tend to move towards an increased drought state if there's more evaporation. On the other hand, increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere may increase the efficiency of water used by plants. Plants tend to extract less water from the soil under higher CO2 concentrations, and that to some extent may offset some of the effects of drought.